Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We're in week 5 of online learning. I'm so proud of you guys. Keep working hard. With that being said, we're going to dive right into it. Today's science joke of the day: when does it rain money? When there's a change in the weather. So today we're going to be continuing on with weather in our second lesson in our unit. So for now, I want you to take 2 minutes, pause this video, and write down the 3 instruments for measuring weather that we talked about last week. Pause the video. I'm going to keep going on. So here are some tools to measure weather. We have our wind vane, and that's the tool that shows wind direction. We have a thermometer that shows us the temperature outside. And then we have a rain gauge, which measures the amount of total rainfall. So today, our TEK 4.8a, same as last week, the student is expected to measure and record changes in weather and make predictions using weather maps, weather symbols, and a map key. So last week we recorded changes in weather, and this week we're going to make predictions. So the learner will make predictions, like we're seeing into the future, in weather by using weather maps, symbols, and a map key, almost like we have our map right in front of us. So we have maps, and then we have our symbols, and then we have a map key. Alright, so first we're going to learn about weather fronts. So first, an air mass. Air masses is just a large body of air that has a similar temperature and moisture throughout it. An air mass gets its temperature and moisture from the area over which it forms. So, for example, any air mass that develops over the Gulf of Mexico will be warm and wet because the Gulf of Mexico is warm and wet. And these air masses move. So, a front is when 2 different air masses meet. So, air masses with different temperatures usually do not mix. So, whenever these 2 air masses meet, a boundary called a front forms between them. There are 4 types of fronts. We're going to learn about 3 of them. So the 4 are cold fronts, warm fronts, occluded fronts, and stationary fronts. We will be learning about cold and warm fronts and stationary fronts today. So, cold fronts. A cold front meets and takes over a warm air mass. It moves under the warm air and it pushes it upward. Cold fronts can move fast, and they produce thunderstorms, heavy rain, or sometimes snow. Cooler weather usually follows a cold front because the warm air is pushed away from the Earth's surface. So if you look at the picture here, the cold air mass is moving this way, and right along the border there, that's a cold front. So it's moving this way, and it forces the warm air up. Now, these blue triangles here is how you can indicate a cold front on a weather map. And you'll see these symbols throughout, so make sure you pay attention to them. Next, we have a warm front. A warm front is where a warm air mass meets and overtakes a cold air mass. So the warm air moves over the cold air but replaces it. Warm fronts generally bring what we call nimbostratus clouds and long rains. After the front passes, weather conditions are warm and clear. So here we have the warm air mass coming this way. It's coming up and over the cold air mass, and it is also replacing it. And these red half circles are what indicates a warm front. Next, we have our stationary front. A stationary front is where a cold air mass meets a warm air mass, but they don't move. No movement occurs. This is usually where clouds and long rains are found. As you can see here, it combines the blue triangles of the cold front and the red half circles of the warm front, and again, usually little movement occurs. Those are the 3 fronts we learned about. Now we're going to learn about high and low pressure systems. A high pressure system has no change in temperature, and they have clear skies. Low pressure systems, again, no change in temperature, but they produce cloudy skies. So the way that I remember this is the LO in cloudy and the LO in low. Cloudy and low. And then high is just clear. And remember, no change in temperature for either. So now we're going to look at this map of the United States, and on it there's 4 cities. We have Boise, Idaho, Dallas, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, St. Louis, Missouri, and then Chicago, Illinois. And you have temperatures at a few of them, and then you see some front indicators, high and low pressure, and temperatures. So we're going to look at them, and then we're going to look at this chart, and we're going to predict the weather for tomorrow in the following cities. So we're going to look at city number 1. We're going to look at the temperature. Will it rise or fall? We're going to look at precipitation. Will it be rainy, thunderstorm, neither? And then will it be cloudy or clear cloud coverage? And then what weather system is it? So city number 1 is Boise, Idaho. It looks like there's a low front coming in, and it's 30 degrees. So we look here. Or sorry, it is a warm front coming in. So there will be a rise in temperature, right? Warm fronts bring warmer temperatures, but it's going to be rainy and probably a little cloudy. It looks like there's maybe a low pressure kind of in the area, so we'll also keep that in mind. And then, so it is a warm front that's coming in. That's the weather system. Now we're going to look at city number 2. City number 2 is Dallas, Texas. It looks like there's a low front coming in and maybe some high pressure moving in as well. So we're going to probably see temperatures fall. We might be looking at some thunderstorms, and it's probably still going to be a little cloudy. So let's see. Good. So with our cold front, we have a fall in temperature, have some thunderstorms, and it's probably going to be cloudy because thunderstorms usually have clouds. So now you are going to take your map, and then whenever you go to your assignment, which is the 4.8a assignment, you are going to complete this weather prediction activity using this lesson, the PowerPoint, and then you will have to edit the document, and you will also have to add circle shapes to complete it. So, what that looks like. To your weather assignment, what this will look like is you have to go here to shapes, okay, select this circle. Let's say city 3 has a fall in temperatures. You're going to make the circle around fall. But you see how it doesn't give that circle anymore? Make sure that your fill color is transparent, and then you can change your border color to black or whatever, and then you can adjust the width and give it a little bit more width like that. So I'll do it again. You come up here to shapes, get the circle. Let's say there is no precipitation at all. You're going to make your little bubble. Okay, fill color, transparent, and then you can change this to black. You can also make it a little thicker if you want to. So that's how you're going to adjust. Make sure whenever you do the click here to type, and then you type in your first and last name. Okay. So once you finish with that assignment, make sure you complete your MOL, also in Google Classroom. Your assignment is what's going to count for your grade, but I'm going to look at your MOL to see what you've learned. Then for your lesson extension, there are 2 lesson extension activities, number 2 and 3. They're found on Google Classroom. They involve making an itinerary based on weather predictions, and then another subsequent lesson extension. More directions can be found on Google Classroom. So The learner will make predictions in weather by using weather maps, symbols, and a map key. That is your assignment for today. Make sure to use the PowerPoint if you need to, review this video if you need to. You can drop questions in Google Classroom, on class tag, have your parents message or email me. I'm available in all those ways. Or you can join our Zoom calls from 11:30 to 12:30 every day. Alright guys, I'm gonna keep working hard. I love seeing your progress every day and what you guys are learning. So I will see you later.